Welcome back to the Jagged Edge. I hope everyone has had a good holiday. Javal, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was great. Got to spend some time with my family. Went down to Houston. Didn't get to go to the game, but still got to have a good time.
I was
So
telling you, you should have.
I,
And in hindsight, would you have gone to the game if you
not
were
even so much I didn't want to,
Mhm.
but
Just timing and everything, right?
I didn't really have a car, so
Oh, yeah, of
was
course.
it not easy to get there? And I also was not I was the opposite side from Energy Stadium, so it's like an
Oh,
hour.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, still, I got to watch it on local channels, so it was definitely very stressful. Um, you know, but watching the full game, it was definitely clear from the first quarter. I'm like, okay, yeah, like we're not getting blown out this game. Like, this is definitely gonna come down. Like the Jags at the very least, they're not going to be embarrassed completely this game. They came out really good. Um, Man, I was trying to think of how even though the offense still started kind of slow, it was able to pick up the pace, especially the third quarter. It was very funny because I obviously Ridley fantasy owner, so I was like, the first half, I was just like, man, like he's so quiet. And then the third quarter comes and he just like gets peppered with targets. I'm like, okay, I'll take the touchdown and the 2-point conversion. So that was clutch. And then just I think it was probably the best game in terms of seeing the ball really throw down the air. It's funny because they had two completions of oh no, they had four completions of over 40 yards, and two of which was the D Ernest screen and the Luke Farrell bootleg. Which shout out to Luke Farrell on
I
that.
didn't know he had that dog in him, man.
That
It's no, I,
was
I
so
legit,
random.
yeah, I didn't watch at all until the 2 minute warning in the first half. I was at work between one and two. I got off at two, so when I clocked out, I just was I had an earbud in so I can at least listen to the Sirius XM feed. So when I heard Frangie go like, and he's still going, I was like, wait, he had five guys on him. I was like, wait, is it legit? And I legit that's all I was like, oh my God. It's crazy like hearing it over like watching it. I know I'm probably not the only one to kind of be like, you know, it was just crazy.
I think that was more yards after the catch in that one play than Manage had like his whole 2 years as a Jag.
It's
I'm not even
crazy.
trolling.
I know.
Yeah,
Shout out
I mean,
Urban Meyer. I mean, never
yeah,
shout out that guy, but that's his boy, so he's been a
yeah.
solid jag though.
But it was, funny how, they had like the two completions, and then the screen to Dearness, 40 yards, which shout out Ezra Cleveland as well on the screen, getting down the field. So they had like those easy completions that were explosive, and then the I I wish so badly that Kirk would have been able to get that touchdown in, because if Kirk scores that touchdown, not only like fantasy reasons that and like just stat reasons that have been great, but just obviously the outcome of the game. But that Kirk throw was on a rope. That was like a laser. And then Trevor came back with another that heated or that throw to Ridley, that one for 40 yards. So obviously there was the one play call at the with the 1 second left, which people would debate that, but I think this was probably one of like a really good game for Press. One of his best, if not his best games. I actually saw the ball being thrown down the field, and in classic Jags fashion, like they still could have scored more.
It's crazy to think about though. It's you're honestly 100% correct. They almost played it feels like a perfect game on offense, besides like the missed pass interference and yeah, just that missed opportunity at the 1 yard line. I mean, in retrospect, it's easier to talk about now because we won the game, but you still want to score points. I mean, if you wanted to take the three, I understand you go up two possessions or the half and you get the ball back. But foot to the pedal, trust the offense. Even if you don't get it, you can come back and score again. And fair enough, they did score more points in the second half as well.
So I mean, yeah, I understand. Talk more about that play call because I understand why people were saying, oh, why not take the points or why not go for that play call? I mean, to me, I get going for the touchdown on the road. I get being aggressive at the 1 yard line. It's just something about the Jags and short yardage situations. They just seem that's the one Achilles heel where just they can't get they don't push the ball in well. Even they took them. I took a flag on 3rd and goal, and then basically them like 5 tries to score because in classic Jags faction they can't do it easily. But hey, at least they did have that nice really touchdown. So it's still even when they look good, there's still some ways and things they can improve on, especially just their toughness. Short yardage has still not been great. ETN did not have a great yards per carry game. So, and the thing is, the passing offense was still great. So imagine, they could be even more balanced, which obviously I know Doug Peterson wants to be more balanced. He doesn't just want to throw the ball down the field just if he has to, but sometimes he has to. So
Hey, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that's been said over and over again between Doug Peterson and the rest of the team. It's gritty, not pretty. If you don't get things to go on your way, you just gotta have that resilience and that fight to, especially we didn't even start to talk about the defense, but just the mentality to okay, if you don't get this opportunity, let's go ahead and get the next. Every drive matters, every play matters. One at a time though. But at the end of the day, a dub's a dub. Two games over the Texans in the AFC South and the Colts, I guess, but we already have the two games over them, so basically three. And now we control our own destiny. We can look ahead.
it's crazy that, I think looking back after the bye, a lot of people were saying like, oh, like disruption of the schedule. Before the season, people would have been like, oh, that's the hard part of the schedule would have been now. And, obviously there was the game after the bye that we shall not mention on this episode. But then, Titans and then Texans have played a lot better than people expected. We end up winning that game. And now, dude, the Jags have a prime time game. We're playing on
First,
Monday Night Football.
first Monday Night Football in Jacksonville in 11 years. Unbelievable.
Dude, versus Jake Browning. I'm not even gonna lie. I am actually like as a fan, I am pretty sad that Joe Burrow's not gonna be in attendance. Like, it would have been fire to see
For his
that
sake, it's
matchup.
probably what's for best because Andy Drew would have just been all over him. I would have feared for his safety. I'm just kidding. Shout out Andy. But I know all the gay Jags fans are gonna be sad that he's not there, but that's okay.
Shout out Gary.
Oh, Gary, shout out Gary. I know all the gays love Joe Burrow, but he will not be playing quarterback on Monday night. For better, for worse. For worse for them, for better for us. But hey, you just got to take it as it is. It's the NFL. Everyone's playing hurt. Our quarterback got hurt too earlier in the year. Didn't look like it on a couple of those throws on Sunday. And before we go even further to start talking about Monday night, as exciting as it is, shout out to the defense, man. For a quarterback who had a lot of talk of, oh, is the MVP? He's definitely offensive rookie of the year, but could he be MVP, MVP, MVP? When he got out of
Stroud.
structure, yeah. When he got out of structure, yeah, he got some of his plays, but there was a lot of plays where when he got out of structure and we couldn't get home, the coverage downfield was phenomenal. Like, nobody was getting open, even Tank Dell at times. So I want to shout out to the defense real quick, holding it down for as best as you possibly could against a quarterback that was hot going into this game.
Obviously, bro, the Stroud glazing was insane. People were saying, I mean, obviously he was playing statistically better than Trevor, so I understand why people who weren't watching the Jags that much were taking Stroud, but you know, and I think watching this game, he played really well. All things considered, the defense made him hold the ball. I think Colwell played a really good game. I think, just the D line as a whole played their best game of the year, which is just funny because, week 3, everyone's like, oh, the Texans offensive line is beat up. And then we just got stonewalled. And then
And then
now
they're
it's
healthy.
and then now that they're like healthier, they just came in and just wrecked them. I mean, even, Roy Robertson Harris had a sack. Foley was being disruptive. Trevon had like 6 pressures, which is career high, and then Josh
Josh
Allen
Allen,
is
man.
just having,
The
you
time of
know,
his life, man. He's having his
ah,
best stretch in his career at the
I
right
just
time.
know that his agent is smiling. Like every game, his agent is just him and his agent are just doing a collective laugh to the bank. So especially like that last drive and how the game ended, like those 2 sacks by Josh Allen.
I mean, just right there. It's just right there. Bulky, he knows he has to pay the guy, so I mean that the smile just says it all.
It's just hilarious, like thinking in retrospect how like that final sack of by Josh and Trevon, you know, that the ending does not happen without that final play. Like that is as heroic of a stand as I could think of. Like it's literally a game of inches sometimes, and it's funny because I couldn't watch I just don't watch field goals in general. This even like
Yeah.
in Jags in general. So when the Tens are gonna kick, in my head I was like, "There's no way it works, right?" But then I was like, "It's like." I was like, no, this is a bad idea. And then I just remember I looked back at the score. I'm like, oh, I was just so relieved because in my head I was expecting overtime because the Jags can't play a normal game of football. But then at the same time, it wasn't like it wasn't a regular miss. Also, it was
Yeah.
it was the most hilarious
Football's
miss.
a game of inches, and the fact that Josh Allen got there twice in one drive really it decided the game. The fact we got pass rush consistently throughout the game decided the football game for this football team. Unbelievable, honestly. I mean, legit, the 2 sacks, it made a difference at the final drive.
It was just a complete team game. Even though I feel like it's crazy because offensively, I'm not even upset because they didn't have a real turnover. Like I don't care that interception was not on
Yeah,
Trevor. Like that was
missed
fake.
call.
So it's like they didn't really have a bad turnover this game, but obviously there's one on the stat sheet. But outside of that, there was a few drops. I mean, okay, I didn't want to ask you, like, did you see the Ridley drop that people were talking about? Like,
Yeah, I saw
I
it. I
I
saw it after the game was
I
over. I
I,
saw the
I
clip.
I still feel like that was a tough. Obviously, like, can he make that throw? Yeah, that
Or
was a
catch,
really
yeah.
difficult throw. Like,
Mhm.
like he's, obviously he's really good in his role. He's not a physical like 50-50 guy like catch point. So I know a lot of people are saying like he has to catch that. I still think that was still a very tough throw. Like it could have been a little bit better by Trevor, but at the same time, it was given the throw by Trevor, it's not a ton more he could have done. So I think people were upset. I Obviously I am biased, so maybe that's just the homer in me. I think the throw could have been a little bit better, but at the same time,
It's in his hands. Quarterback mentality. If it's in your hands, you better catch it if you're the receiver.
yeah, I don't
But
think
it's a
I don't think he
quarterback
as
thing.
a receiver, I think as a receiver, he's got to catch that. So
Yeah. Even
and then
yeah, you're right. Receivers mentality. If it's in
it
my
was
hands, I
just
gotta hold on to it.
it was just so crazy that like the Kirk drop that he had, like the sun like glared because of course like the one corner of the field that the sunlight
Yeah.
was in. The twelfth man on defense for the Texans.
The sun.
Ah, dude, that was just so Jags. Because
You could have
that's
had it
crazy.
400 yards.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
I, I really think that we're seeing back-to-back games of Trevor just being unleashed, and if
He
he
heard the
keeps on,
noise. He heard the noise. That's the
he
thing.
heard what
Yeah.
Sherman said.
And not just Sherman, everyone. Oh, CJ Stroud's better than Trevor Lawrence. Oh, I would take CJ Stroud over to run my franchise over Trevor Lawrence. Trevor said, "All right, bet." Put almost 400 yards up in your ass, 2 touchdowns, an undeserved pick. Read it and weep. What can you do? I
Now
can't
the
hear you.
Jags,
Oh, there you
oh,
go.
now the Jags like playoff chances are like a 99% chance. Like it's crazy. Last year it was, are we gonna make the playoffs? Are we
Yeah,
gonna scratch
scratch
and
and claw. It was legit the motto through last season. Just scratch and claw. Keep
now it's like,
scratching.
do we
Yep.
have a chance at the 1 seed? Dude, it's crazy what a difference a year makes, man.
Yeah. The answer is also yes. It's unbelievable how we
But a
control our own
time.
destiny. I know. I mean,
Worth living again. It's crazy.
I've just never seen this football team this good since I was 2. You weren't even alive yet when the football team was 8-3 last time. They were, or better, I think. I think they were like 10-1 in 1999 at this point, which is unbelievable to think about.
Like it just feels so much more different than Saxonville because
Hmm.
that was just so volatile. Like that was like so heavily carried by the defense. Here it just feels like not only is there better coaching, better quarterback, it's a complete team effort. It wasn't just like there wasn't that many games when the offense could play really great and carry for the defense. In 2017, like if the defense did not play great, then usually the team lost. Here, it's like it just everything feels sustainable. Like they have a coach who knows how to win, a quarterback who can do everything that's asked, and the team that's knowing how to win and getting good at it. So, man, as long as everyone stays healthy, um, it's really exciting just to see how this team can make a postseason push. Like it's crazy, you know, there's only really one game left on the schedule that you're really feeling not great about. I mean, Browns defense still might be kind of tough to play on the road, but maybe the weather's not great, so that game could get stupid. But other than that, I mean, you know, if you can beat both teams, there's a realistic chance that Jags, like the Ravens game, could for the 1 seed. That 1 seed have implications. Oh man, exciting times. This is crazy. Like
I
it's
know.
so much
You're just
optimism
like
and
you just
hope.
sound so overwhelmed that we've never seen a Jaguar team that acted like this before. But honestly, I don't blame you. You've been a fan that shorter time than I have, so I understand where you're coming from. Even I'm a child, I don't even understand like logistics of being good or bad. Whenever you're like 10 years old watching football, you're just like, oh, did my team win or not? You don't think about long term or whatever. We're here now though. What the hell's going on? We're 8-3 after so many bad years of dog shit.
Crazy that we really just
Uh, I didn't want to burst your bubble because he talked about weather. Are you going to the Monday night game by any chance?
um probably.
It's gonna be raining all day and night. So when you talk about weather, the test it'll continue. It's gonna be cold, wet, and rainy on Monday. I know you hate these type of games with the Jags too. It gets you a bit wound up, and it's starting to look
now
like it'll be a
now
cold, wet, and rainy
now,
game on
now
Monday.
my optimism just like
It's not completely gone, but it's like
not gone. I'm like even my optimism for the game is like I think it's like they could win, but just as a fan, like that experience as a whole, I'm like, do I want to drive in rainy conditions?
from Orlando. Yeah, you have to drive from Orlando, first of all. Second of all, it's gonna be like low 60s and raining the entire night, probably.
Dude, I don't even mind if it's chilly. It's just rainy is the problem.
I
Because
like chilly though. I
that's when it
like
gets
it was so nice. It's so nice outside today,
not
so it's
when you
like,
think of, when you say chilly, I just have PTSD to the Chargers game because that was just freezing.
oh, that was hell on earth. I mean,
But
I definitely got way too intoxicated and maybe a bit high at that game too. So so I had way too much fun to not even feel it until I sobered up. But well, this is a time of year. It's December football. We're here and we're playing for something. At the end of the day, that's all it
this
is.
is
No matter what the game.
crazy. The
Yeah.
Jags are, playing. It's December, and we're not talking about mock drafts and
Hmm.
who are we going to get in the first round. Instead, it's
We have all to play for.
yeah,
6 games left.
this is crazy.
I mean, do we start talking about the Bengals game? Besides, like the quarterback, they might have T. Higgins back. They still have Jamar Chase. They still have Joe Mixon. I mean, their offense still has all the weapons in the world.
Even if they're healthy, there's no excuse for losing to Jake Browning at home at a primetime game, unless it is going to be if it is rainy. We'll see how that affects things because they're not really a great running team. I don't think
Hmm.
the Bengals are like if it's going to be a ugly defensive game, I think that favors the Jags. Like if both teams are going to have to run the ball, but
Yep.
I also don't think the Jags are going to have a lot of success running the ball either. So it could really just come down to who makes the most turnovers, who makes the most splash plays. I mean, the Bengals defense hasn't really been great this year, but they still have, good talent, good coaching. So, if it was like neutral field, like, letting Trevor air it out more, I'd feel a lot more confident. If it's, Doug's going to try to run ball 30 yards a game, then good luck, Charlie. Good luck, Travis.
I mean, uh, I said it's a bit early to think about, but my brother did tell me today that it was going to be probably very, very crappy weather for Monday. But like I said, it's our first primetime game Monday night. If you don't think all of us are going to be there having a good time, regardless whether we're wet or dry, then hey, you haven't, you're not, this isn't the podcast for you. But like, my God, it's just unbelievable. After such an emotional game, how will they respond? How will the fans respond? It's just going to be a lot, honestly. And it's crazy too. Like I said, this is the stretch where we feel like we can just take over and just hope for the best because that's all we can really do. Looking up.
It feels, last year, like looking back in hindsight, it was like, okay, now this team has the year under their belt. They're starting to really get hot at the right time. The schedule is looking very favorable. I mean, outside of Lamar, there's not a quarterback they're playing that the Jags there's not a quarterback the Jags are playing that Trevor isn't better than. And having a quarterback advantage most games will win you most games in the NFL. So, you know, it's just, you don't look too far ahead because it's a week by week season. So
Yeah, one at a time.
we
Just
we could be
Cincinnati.
we could be we could be in panic mode next week. Something bad could happen. But at the end of the day, if the Jags play like to their potential, man, we're playoffs are going to be really interesting in the AFC. That's all we can say. Really
Yeah.
interesting.
It's already a bloodbath. It's just so stacked. It feels like more than the NFC. It's crazy how many good teams there are, and the fact that we're 8-3, we deserve to be here. And like I said, it's just taking that momentum from the end of last year and just seeing it all kind of come together now, while not perfect, like you've said before. It's wild. It really is. It really is. It's more speechless than some of the losses we've taken this year, honestly. It's just we fought an emotional game. We play like the team that has been in that position before, more than Houston. They're a very young team. Their quarterback's really good. Yeah, I know. I think Trevor is better than CJ Stroud. Uh, don't tell Hunter that. We were supposed to have him last week, but holidays, really messed us up. But there's a reason why the Jaguars won that game. They've been in that position before. and they're just hungry for more. They know work's not over yet, though. That was the first message to them after the game on Sunday. And like I said, 6 more games to go before that postseason, but 1 week at a time at the same time.
Exciting times. Offense is starting to click, defense is starting to get better too. Um, the important question is, with the stretch running coming, just sack Guru.
God fucking damn it. I was thinking about it earlier too. He's still at 2, right? He's still at 2.
I think he's at 2. Stat. Hold up.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
gonna
still
I'm
at
gonna
2.
check right now.
I'm surprised he didn't get one at home, honestly, if I'm real with you.
Yeah, he has 2 sacks this career, so he has to get 3 in the next 6 games. Not impossible.
He didn't even get on the stat sheet last week. What are we
I'm
talking
still
about?
I'm still thinking about how he had that. I don't know if it would have been a QB hit or a sack wiped away from that roughing the passer penalty in Tennessee. That was, I think that was divine intervention from above. I still think about that. So yeah, but I think just getting like the big game out the way in the schedule. Now it's stretch run. It's time to really, as a team, and not just to the NFL, but as a team, just show the
Lock
rest of the
in. Yeah.
league, like, yeah,
You
you
got two
know,
primetime games in 3 weeks. Time to lock the fuck in, honestly. Time to show the NFL what we're about.
because I don't realistically, I can't see them losing more than 2 games in the stretch. Like the way if they're just playing the way they're right now versus the teams. I mean, Bengals game. If the weather changes anything, we'll see. But just even with Joe Burrow, I still think they could have beat the Joe Bengals. So obviously not having their best quarterback will change a lot. And at the Browns. Oh, speaking of not,
DTR or Joe Flacco or PJ Walker. Like,
I still wish it
yeah.
was. I still wish it was number 4, so that we could just force them to have a terrible game.
I
But
mean, screw that guy anyway. So
but no one's really like scared. Ravens game, obviously,
that's the big test for
that's
sure.
that's gonna be the game where it's like, okay, who's gonna be the? I think that's gonna determine who's gonna be the one seed in the AFC, whether it's Baltimore.
Ooh, or Jackson. It
I mean,
legitimately could. I mean, depends what
even
they
maybe
choose to.
Kansas City too. Yeah, I was gonna say, but that game's gonna have massive playoff
Implications.
implications.
Yeah.
Like
Seeding
because if
implications.
I don't, if the obviously I don't think the Jazz want to look too far ahead, but you know if they keep if they keep hot rolling. Ravens have a bye week too, so they'll both have 10 wins if every team keeps winning. You're talking about that game to possibly determine the AFC, and the Jags, the Dolphins, and
The
the
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
They
Yeah.
play everyone. Holy shit.
So,
So they have
so
a
yeah,
lot
they go
more
for the.
emotional. They have a bigger gauntlet than we do to end the year.
So if they just slip up down the stretch once, and the Jags can be one of those wins. I
Yeah.
mean,
That's
they've beaten
blood in the
Lamar at
water.
home
Yeah.
before. That's going to be an exciting game. I'm definitely, that's going to be the game of the year. And then the Bucks. I feel the way that this year's going, that there's going to be more Jags fans at the Bucks game than Bucks fans.
I
Like
am legit thinking about going to that game too. So
if it wasn't Christmas Eve, I would have went. But
I think I might make a same day trip out of it with me and my buddy Nick. Honestly, we've been talking about it for a bit now. So it depends. But I did ask Christmas Eve and Christmas off just to the possibility to go down there same night and come back same night.
but you know the Bucks really haven't played that great. Still have some talent, so it's not wouldn't be necessarily an easy win, but if the Jags play as well as they can, they should beat the Bucks. The Panthers, I mean, that's Panthers at home.
Last home game of the rest regular season home game of the year. So
Braves, like, just I wouldn't be surprised if, that's gonna be like the Trevor stat pad game.
well, like I said, it's new. You don't know how they're gonna react with the new coach. Just a situation that kind of Trevor was in his rookie year. So it's a big test for Bryce Young to see how strong he can finish his rookie year in a not
I
so
mean,
ideal
yeah, I think
circumstances.
they'll have a little more heart to play for, but just, in terms of talent level on offense.
DJ Chark again, revenge game, baby. And
DJ
LaVisca
and
Chenault, revenge game.
Laviska.
I'll wear my LaVisca Chenault jersey for that game.
Who was there? Who I'm trying to think. Yeah, Agnew was the only person to be in like the crossover for both. Yeah, because
No.
Agnew was
He was in
there.
Detroit. Was he there? I thought he was drafted by
I,
Detroit. Then he went to Jacksonville.
yeah, no, the first year that we signed Agnew was the Urban year, and that was
Oh
when
yeah.
Chark and Laviska. So
Oh yeah.
Agnew's the only person who's like, damn,
Left.
I feel bad for y'all.
He is the only receiver that was left standing for
All
that
that's left
team.
is for Marvin Jones to come out of retirement and sign with the Panthers.
Or the Jaguars. Who knows?
Gonna be a ring chaser.
Oh my god. Hey. No one I think would deserve it better after a tough year. Hopefully he's okay after everything that's happened with him behind the scenes.
Give him more of a ring.
I know. But like I said, I think we've been looking ahead too much. 1 week at a time. We still have 6 weeks of football. We don't know what's gonna happen. So
You got to take it week by week, but obviously,
yeah, you want to get a little bit excited. There's a lot.
it's
It's December football that's meaningful for this football team. It is
as
not
a
just,
you
oh,
just
can we
you
sneak in? Can
you
we
haven't
be
yeah. It's like at this point, you're basically locked into the playoffs. Don't do anything stupid. You're gonna win the division. So it's for the most part, how high can you rank? What seating is there? Can you aim for the bye? Just apply pressure.
hmm
I wouldn't be surprised if that's why like this that like those last two games versus Panthers and Titans, if it's gonna come down to like the seeding,
seating? Yeah.
it could still be like competitive. Like the Giants could still be like playing intense, like trying to win games. So,
It feel like
ah,
kind of like the Texans and Jets game last year where you knew the other team was kind of dead in the water, but then you still got to play the game and just punch them in the throat early on and just, take it as it is. But, you know, I
hopefully,
yeah. Hopefully comes to that. We just win our games coming up and then that final 3 game stretch we're just kind of trying to see if we can get help because the only team that has our number there out of the other AFC teams is the Kansas City Chiefs, which, they had a lot of teams' numbers though over the past few years, but they're looking susceptible more years than not. We had our chances against them too when we played them week 2. Looks like a lot of those issues haven't really kind of solved itself. We're trying, Mahomes still trying to find a receiver to really rely on. Rashid Rice did have a very good game. Kelsey's always gonna be tough to stop, but like I said, I'm looking way too far ahead now too. But like I said, we just can't help ourselves. It's exciting that we're 2 games above the AC South, so we can kind of not relax, but kind of see what's going on around us now. The AFC, now that it
there's
looks like the AFC South is locked up almost.
a realistic path, to like this team making, a deep postseason run. It's crazy. Life is good, man. It's enjoy this moment while it lasts. We've suffered through so much to get here at a point where, only 2 games away from officially a double digits winning season. And what is the last time the Jags have had that 20 besides 2017? Like
Double
what?
digit wins in the season, yeah. 2007. I was 10.
So
Last time we had double digit wins in the season, man. 10 and
appreciate
yeah, well, I was 10 and then I was 20. No, was I 20? Yeah, I was 20. 2017. Yeah, I was 20. 10 and 20. That's crazy. The only 2 times I remembered had visual consciousness about the Jaguars having double digit wins. Unbelievable.
Thank you, thank you, Frank Gore. That's all I want to say every day. Thank you, Frank Gore.
I hate that your team had to kick our ass a few weeks ago, but we won't talk about that.
Unnecessary sacrifice.
And yeah, to kind of wake the boys up. I mean, legit. I think they legit said that that game kind of woke them up a bit for these two divisional games. And hey, two dubs, can't
You
complain.
know, I'll take the L to an NFC team and
Hmm.
then get two fired up games for two divisional games. So
Yeah,
the only divisional game left is the Texans, and I don't think anyone's
Titans.
really worried. Oh, the Titans. I
Yeah,
don't. They're so relevant. You know, I'm not even.
it's crazy too because that game against between Houston and Tennessee and Houston and Indianapolis could be for a playoff spot too. Just fucking crazy to think about how it could be down to Gardner Minshew
Gardner
and
Minshew,
CJ Stroud in Indianapolis last game of the season for a wild card spot. It's
Loki.
possible. The AFC is such a bloodbath that it looks like that game could be for a 6 or 7 in the wild card spot, which could have implications to see who we play in the playoffs. We don't get the number 1 seed.
Would we root for the Colts in that
Oh,
scenario?
absolutely. I would absolutely
Home
root.
playoff game
But
versus Gardner
Texans would be more
Minshew.
fun, but I'd have more of a heart attack. We had to play Houston again over
We would
Indianapolis.
just get to stuff Minshew in a locker again.
But it could also be some stupid bullshit where the Colts finally break their streak in January instead of in the regular season.
Oh,
I know. It's just we can't escape. We can't escape the AC South.
nah,
I
nah. We're sweeping them. We'd sweep them. We're tired of sweeping them twice this season. We're gonna sweep them three times
we're
this
just gonna put
season.
them in the complete blender.
We're gonna sweep them three times.
I mean, let's hope we get the 1 seed and don't have to worry about all that unless they somehow upset whoever gets like a 2 or 3 seed in the AFC. Which, as crazy of a season as it's been, the Colts already beat the Ravens, so who freaking knows anymore?
I still can't believe that game happened, but it actually helped us in the long run somehow. So,
Yeah, but that was after the Texans game too, right? Where the Colts
ah
beat
man,
the Ravens, I think. It was
yeah.
a stupid week where that happened.
NFL is stupid, man. That's why I love it. Week to week, nothing makes sense.
Every team has lost to a every team in the AFC has kind of had a questionable game. Chiefs had the Broncos game, but the Broncos are now winning. So maybe it's not a super game after all. The Ravens had that Colts game. We had the Niners game. But like, the Niners are looking like a buzzsaw, and I'm glad they're in the NFC, and we're not in the NFC. Uh who else? Yeah, the Steelers are the Steelers. The Browns lost their quarterbacks. So as long as the team stays healthy, man, there's a chance. But
As the
one week at a
limit, but
time. I'm just
we
that's
just
the
got
name of this episode. We 1 week at a time. We're happy, but 1 week at a time, please.
it because we're Jacks fans. It only takes one bad game until
We want
the
to kill
panic
ourselves
button.
again. Yeah, until we want to kill
Basically,
ourselves again. We're having it's crazy because we want to feel like we've escaped that mentality of what could go wrong and oh my god it went wrong because of the decade plus of like watching horrific football that our brains still can't fully comprehend. Oh yeah, and screw the Texans fans that keep complaining about the referees and the Texans organization itself. That's batshit loser behavior, and I hope you don't make the playoffs because of that.
I still can't believe that they didn't like. Not even just that game alone, but just I remember the Bills Eagles and there's another game that might have been objectively like one of the worst officiating weekends I've ever seen
Oh yeah,
because
no. But it's okay. If you are a big soccer fan, you would have saw that Newcastle got an undeserved penalty too. So refereeing is just terrible in all sports. Doesn't matter which football you watch because refereeing will screw you over in any sport that you watch. So yin and yang, it all evens out. Yeah, it's like we had that interception or that missed call on the interception. Then we had the phantom pass interference call in the red zone. So all evens out. So hey, what can you do?
oh well, it just I'm just glad we avoided the heart attack of the alternate reality of where we got swept by the Texans. They have the first seed. Like the sky is falling.
Yeah, I mean, this is reality. Reality is we're just them right now.
So, enjoy it because the Texans, who knows how good they could be next year.
We're
Even
not
the
talking about
Colts.
next year. 1 week at a
I know,
time,
just
Javal.
yeah,
I know they'll
just
be up our ass. They'll be up our
that's
ass for a long time. That's for sure. But hey,
we have Trevor Lawrence and they don't.
exactly, exactly. Like I said, they're complaining about the cost, but they didn't stop Trevor Lawrence from dropping 360 yards on their ass. So don't complain about the calls, but that defense was Trevor threw all over them. So what can you do? Yeah, we were asking for this Trevor Lawrence after the bye week. Sounds like he's on not I'm gonna say not arrived just yet, but he's getting there. Because you want to see more of it, especially in a lot of the big game coming up. The two primetime games coming up, especially.
Threw for so much like directly versus Stroud, like directly when everybody was glazing Stroud, rightfully so. Still, obviously can't wait for the four touchdown. Like he had
The
the
four
four
touchdowns
touchdown
in against
total game
Tennessee.
versus Tennessee. Still waiting for the passing like four touchdown game, but I mean, hey, if he wants to get more rush touchdowns as well, however he scores, he scores.
He's my
So
fantasy quarterback, and I am somehow still alive at four. Was it 5-7? And I could sneak into the 6th seed if things fall my way. I have Trevor and Calvin, so the fact that they're waking up this time of year, hey, there's a chance. Will God will it? Will Trevor and Calvin will it? We'll see. What's the difference, right? We have Jesus at quarterback, and we have his favorite son catching balls now, finally. Uh, like I said, what the hell?
find time to be a Jags fan. What a crazy sentence to say.
Is there anything else you want to talk about, or talk? What else do you have on your mind? Because just talking about it again is just unbelievable. Like I said, we just can't believe we're here.
I guess we'll just see more how the weather looks for Monday.
Yeah.
Obviously,
We'll hopefully
hope.
talk again later on this week. I'm trying to put up Christmas decorations this week, so we'll see how that goes. So it's
We'll
gonna
have
be a
an
little
extra
more.
day to record, so
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. We could do it on Sunday, just say fuck it, full send, or Saturday. We'll see.
and I feel weird, like
Hmm.
having to wait all until Monday night just to watch.
I took the Tuesday off just for worst case scenario because I know I'm gonna be belligerent Monday. The lots don't open at till 3 o'clock, so that's perfect because I work 6 to 2 Monday. I'm just gonna have an energy drink on the way out and then you know, just go at it.
I'll s- I'll see if I end up going. And just knowing it might rain really
Puts you like
just knowing 95 with rain is going to be a pain.
oh yeah, I if you don't, let me know. My dad's asked if they can go, but the fact that he's going to tell him it's gonna rain, he probably doesn't want to go if that's the case. But it's just I
I guess we'll stay posted, and either way or not, hopefully the next game is a great primetime game. Trevor Lawrence gets to stamp himself. Hopefully the rain doesn't matter too much,
I mean
and
we played in it before already this season in Pittsburgh, so it's not like we haven't been in this situation before. The fact that we're a home though, we'll have the home crowd blackout, so I'm assuming we're gonna wear our all black uniforms this week. It'll look nice in the lights. It's gonna be fun.
well, catch you later. Um,
Yeah,
Excited to we get to talk all things Jags as always, and that this team is actually worth living. Like our mental health is not in shambles because of this football team.
unbelievable.
Feels so refreshing.
It is so.
Still get some heart palpitations, but
Yeah, sorry. I'm also looking at my phone because of the fucking play-in tournament. Orlando did its business and they have to wait for everyone else. I don't know. But I'll leave you at that. Um Jesus, Javal, we're 8-3. What the hell? Not in the even. It's just crazy because we knew that this could happen, but the fact is in our face now. What can you do? We're just two speechless Jaguar fans at the end of the night.
My brain just still can't comprehend. It's still just trying to process all this positivity. It's trying to generate negativity, but it's hard to bring some up.
I know you're the negative person. I'm always the positive one. I'm still speechless. Like, what can you do? My football team's good. My basketball team's also good. My soccer team was playing Champions League football today. What the hell is going on? I don't know. I really don't know.
Enjoy it while it lasts. Enjoy the smiles and free serotonin.
All you can do, man. All right, guys, if you're still watching us ramble, thank you once again. Uh Unbelievable. Have a good night, Javal. We'll talk to you later on the week, hopefully.